Street redevelopment project and the removal of Macho Nachos. Sorry about blundering that. Burger King and the, well, I think you know where it's going.
I got the question. Actually, when it comes to the businesses, we all have to remember it's private property. And what happens with those businesses is a matter of landlord tenant. Most of those tenants already have 60-day development clauses, and it is unfortunate that those businesses are going to be disrupted with this development. No bones about it. I voted for this redevelopment plan. The redevelopment plan actually is the underlying zoning for this property. The site plan goes to the planning board now, and it's going to be judged by this planning board. However, I will tell you, talk about community involvement, because of my efforts and because of my communications, we were out there, we were at this meeting, we're at every major development meeting in that first ward, even though this property's in the second ward. Our voices were heard, and we got a tremendous number of concessions on this project, and I was the holdout vote. And the reason why I was the holdout vote was to get those concessions that we needed to go forward so that we got as much as we could get out of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. Allison?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the project, and I did support the project, but I was asking very specific questions about traffic and the traffic study and the plan, and believe that my tough questions and line of questioning helped the project get better and the plan get better. And I was actively voicing language in the plan for affordable retail incentives and free short-term parking. And without my voice and my active involvement, I believe I made a difference there, and I'm very proud of my accomplishment in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you. Lorena?
Okay, so to reiterate that it is private property, and this particular owner has the right to develop as he sees fit. I do believe it's a very complex proposal. It has both its positive and negative attributes. I do feel that we should reference the Morristown Master Plan as the living document it is through every step of this planning, and more importantly, to make sure all the residents and the businesses that will be affected are informed throughout this process and their concerns a priority.
Thank you. Tawanna?
So I obviously feel that this is a massive redevelopment project, and I do encourage all of the residents, especially those in Second Ward, to continue to come out to the meetings, and because the residents, especially our seniors who are behind that this new end station, we don't totally know what kind of impact it's going to have on them. And so there's a major concern about those residents there and those who are in the Second Ward. So I'm happy that some concessions were made and that residents were coming out to find out more details about it. I still encourage them to continue.
Thank you. Oliver?
Thank you. Initially, I was very much against this project, being a 31-year-old right across the street from that location. I go there more often than I probably should. I don't cook, but that's my problem. And I also think that as time went on, I also like to commend the administration because I received an initial notice that alerted me to the mid-August meeting, and it was a great introduction to this entire thing. So I've since become very and cautiously optimistic about the possibilities that this project may bring, and I'm also very wary of certain aspects of the project. Environmentally, we talk about some very steep gradient that's going to be affected throughout this entire project, and I'm not sure what that affect, how that will affect people, like Tawanna said, people who live behind it. You know, what's going to happen? Are we going to make a new floodplain in Morristown? But you know, this is a well-resourced project with some very bright minds behind it. So you know, the engineering is a concern, but it's not a deal breaker.
Thank you. Stefan?
I'm going to address the question as it relates to all the redevelopment projects in town that we work on. There are 8 redevelopment projects or areas in Morristown that were designated 15 years ago for which the respective town council adopted redevelopment plans, aka zoning codes. The current master plan and zoning code supports these developments at the defined zoning densities During the 2014 master plan process, which received statewide awards for public involvement and content, there was no significant opposition to these development projects. The zoning of each project area represents the value to the owner. The role of the council is to work with the professionals to negotiate improvements to the redevelopment plans, to maximize the public benefit and eliminate any adverse impacts on the project and the surrounding community. What the council is not able to do is deny applications outright because we disagree with the master plan or zoning. That would violate the Fifth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, which protects property owners from governments taking private property without due process and just compensation.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, next question.